Darkness doesn't just hide secrets. Sometimes it becomes the stage for them. On January 9th, 1993, Charlotte Sherman's voice trembled with rage as she stood inside the Foster, Rhode Island police station. Her 16-year-old son, Frank Sherman, had been beaten by a cop. A felony assault charge was filed against him. At first, he was only suspended with pay. But after a grand jury indicted him on March 23rd, the department cut his salary and served him with multiple disciplinary violations. He was promised a hearing under the Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights. Not just any cop. 24-year-old patrolman Robert Sabetta Jr. had allegedly smashed a department-issued flashlight into Frank's face during a traffic stop, knocking out 2 of his teeth. The next day, Robert was arrested by his own department. That hearing never came. Robert never showed emotion. He kept his head down. But those close to him would later say that being stripped of his badge was like cutting off his soul. He lived for the uniform, and now it was gone. And then came the night of April 13th, 1993. It was just past midnight at Wilson S. Auto Sales on Route 6. He hit the ground outside only, then realizing he'd been shot in the chest. Gasping, he scrambled to a nearby house. Frank Sherman was there with his 17-year-old brother Charles and their 19-year-old friend Jeremy Bullock. A light-colored Ford Crown Victoria sped off into the dark, headlights off. He could only see black boots and dark blue uniform pants with a light stripe. Foster police pants. His friend. The garage was alive with tools clanking and headlights shining, then silent. 2 of their cousins, Michael Clausen and Darrell Drake, were working on cars too. Frank's black lab, Chalk Lad, barked outside. Just hours later, at 3:30 a.m., officers spotted Robert driving his gray Crown Victoria in nearby Cranston. He was taken into custody by state police. Frank went to check. Moments later, the night exploded. Pop! Pop! Bits of metal found at Robert's home matched the altered barrel. The weapon was his. He had found a gun, its serial number scratched off, its barrel crudely ground down. Inside were 6 spent cartridges. Police identified it as a .357 Magnum. Michael, under a car, froze. He heard footsteps, muffled groaning. He peeked out. Then came to more gunshots. Michael crawled out. Charles had been shot in the face. Jeremy lay bleeding on the floor. Michael bolted for help. Meanwhile, Darrell had been sitting in his car when loud bangs rocked the garage. He looked up to find a man standing just 6 inches away, gun pointed at his chest. The man had short hair, glasses, a familiar face. Darrell dove across the console. A gunshot ripped through the air as he collapsed at the doorstep. Tires screeched in the distance. Emergency surgery saved Darrell's life. On April 14th, while still recovering, he told the police. It was Robert Sabetta Jr. back at the garage. Police found a massacre. Frank Sherman, Charles Sherman III, and Jeremy Bullock executed with shots to the head. The boy who had filed the complaint, his brother, a bolo was issued. He said nothing, but the evidence didn't. 2 weeks after the murders, a man fishing under the Gold Star Bridge in Connecticut called police. Forensics connected that gun to bullets Robert had fired into a tree during target practice. With eyewitness accounts from Michael and Darrell and irrefutable forensic testimony, the case went to trial. On June 11, 1994, Robert Sabetta Jr. was convicted of 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of assault with intent to murder. He tried to appeal, claimed his Miranda rights were violated, but it was a weak defense. He was a cop. He knew his rights. In October 1994, the judge sentenced him to 3 life sentences, plus 20 years. This was not rage. The judge said, this was cold-blooded, deliberate execution. Aftermath, the boy who had once dared to file a complaint was silenced along with his brother and best friend. But the killer's silence could not drown the truth. The badge he once wore had turned into a mask for vengeance. And when the mask fell, justice came crashing down.